Thrand here, and I'm here with the War Hatchet from Medieval Shoppe. As you know, we did a video and we were asking people to vote on which weapon they wanted to see first from the box opening. That was the one where we opened up all the blades that were sent to us from Medieval Shoppe, and a lot of people, no matter what they voted on, mentioned the axe. They wanted to see the bearded axe with the hammer, the Viking style axe, or as they call it at Medieval Shoppe, the War Hatchet. But it's a very common design. You see the bearded axe. It was used throughout history for different reasons. It's a one-handed axe. It's used with shields. It weighs about 1.5 pounds. I would say that's about, what is it, 0.725 or 724 kilos, which is about 1.5 pounds. The handle it's got, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, I could like a little bit longer handle, but its handle is enough. It's more than enough to do what it needs to do. It's got a broad edge, I'd say about 5 inches. As you can see here, it's about 5 inches. That's about, I don't know, like 12 centimeters or so. And it's got a pretty deep blade, I would say about 16 inches or so, about 6 inches or so. So that's more than enough wound damage if you hit somebody, and this was to lay them open all the way to the haft, and or the shaft or the haft actually stopped it, or as you see the classic design here. On a longer handle, you could actually, we were thinking about this as well, could actually shape this so there's less wood in the way. But then again, this wood handle, in another sense, if you wanted it to protrude past there, could also have uses as well. As we've discovered with using it, it could actually be used as a tool easier with a little extra handle towards the top. The hammer on the back seems very efficient. I mean, you can use that for driving nails. Yes, they had steel, or I would say iron nails back in the Viking era, or even wooden pegs. It could be used as a weapon as well. You can use the back of the axe as well as the front of the axe when one's wielding it to hit with, not just the blade itself. With the beard, it's excellent for hooking. Now, not just hooking as a weapon, but hooking as a tool. A lot of times this was used to pull on branches, to pull on objects, to actually hook into something when you're going to pick it up or move it. Today, what we've designed to do, this is going to be the first part of our video on this, because we are going to come back and we want, Tim has specifically said he wants to see lots of throwing with it. He wants to see this thrown to see what it'll do, because it's got a nice weight to it to balance. But we're going to come back and do the actual ballistic shell heads later. Right now, we decided to do a bunch of requests. We've had requests for rolled wet newspaper, poor man's wet newspaper, to see how an axe would cut through it. We thought this one would be excellent for that. We're going to cut some bottles today. We're going to do some different tests with it, just to see how the blade performs, and even some flesh. We're going to do some hog flesh and see how it performs, and how big of a wound it actually leaves, and how it clefts in the bone or cleaves in the bone. I think it's an excellent axe. Looks a lot like my larger version that we've used for combat. We've actually used it for hooking, disarming, hooking shields, and so it's very similar. That would work perfect for a one-handed axe. It would do everything that you could do with a bearded axe or any axe that you can hook with well. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Whoa! We have a pretty nice cut clean through here, but as unusual blade shapes merit, we end up slicing into our bottle with the tip, coming out the back side, cutting all the way around here, and hooking it with our hook. So effectively, we almost cut the bottle in half. I was trying very hard to do that because the blade's just a hair wider than the bottle, not much, but that's almost an impossible task. We did pull it off though and cut into the bottle beautifully, if it'd like to come out. Beautiful slice though. Where I was able to cut, it's beautiful. Oh! Whoa! We got two cuts side by side. That was nice. Same hooking action there as it went in. But you see this one tipped, came through, and this one came back through the other way.
The first one tipped and came through. The second one,
he actually snagged, yeah. which is one of the benefits of this. Actually, the beard allows for an effective hooking tool in combat as well to hook the opponent and the shield. Hooking, not only does it make a broad edge good for cutting and the proper weight distribution and kind of protects the handle some, it allows for hooking on shields. So if you're in a shield wall or even in a regular one-on-one fight, where of course the shields would be held at a different angle, you can reach out and hook. But the beauty of it is you can tilt them. You can actually tilt this way. So you can tilt it away from you instead of just pulling it into you. If you had just a regular axe head, of course you can hook on an axe head. You can just put it on here and pull it towards you. This gives you a bite. Like you're actually getting into it, so you can manipulate it in other ways. Let's say if you have a spearman behind you and a partner with you. The Vikings fought in pairs a lot of times, even if they weren't in a shield wall or in groups. So this does give some advantage of being able to hook and control something depending on where you hit it. And I think that's a unique thing about the bearded axe. We've done a lot of work with that in videos and actually talked about beards or hooks on the axe and how they can be used in combat, disarm, and all sorts of things. But the good thing about this one, it's got a lot of heft to it. We've tested this against axes before and they were unable to penetrate it. Today I'm going to give it my best and give it a good hit. A lot of times you wouldn't want to get stuck in a shield, but we want to see how far it'll go into this shield. It's actually 8 layers of laminated linen and hardwood. Now, would we hit somebody behind it? No, but that is impressive that it made it that well through the shield. That is a massive cut into the shield, and it is stuck in there. I can pull it out, but if you look at it, that is the most we've gotten from an axe into it. So with that tip shot and with the power behind it, that's very, very, very impressive. This is our test shield here. We didn't try against the actual rawhide, but we'll do that next. And of course against rawhide it's going to go in, but not as well. We didn't quite make it through. That's a double layer of rawhide, so yes, it's much more difficult. And the 8 layers of linen, which is kind of overkill. So I'm very impressed. I think it's got a lot of cutting ability. That's extreme. Let's go ahead and we'll hit it one time on the edge. And this is also free. Let everybody see this. This is like if someone's holding it. This is not glued here in place. It's giving as I'm hitting it. Wow! We actually cut through the metal. There's metal under here and the 8 layers. Well, in this case, 4 layers on the edge, I believe. Didn't get stuck in, but that's still amazing that it was able to even do that. Through actual metal. Soft iron. Nice. Alright, by popular request, we've been asked over and over again, why don't we use axes to cut through rolled wet newspapers? We like to call it poor man's tatami. This is about a 3-inch roll. The reason we usually don't do it, axes travel at a slower rate than swords. Believe it or not, they're slightly slower, not by a lot, but by some. And they actually have a wedge shape a lot of times. Unless it's a very thin bladed axe, like some of the Dane axes and stuff. This one's not as thin. Like this one is hammered. It's got a rougher surface, which makes it look authentic. I mean, it's beautiful. At it, you can see the wedge shape. And as you get up towards the handle, anything you're going through, which of course this is longer than the rolled wet newspaper, you're going to hit the socket. So of course it's not going to go very much deeper till it hits here. Even in the human body, it's probably going to slow down when it hits here, even against bone and stuff. So you've got that much, is more than enough. But you also have drag, you have a different shape, and it's not as long either, so the tip's not traveling as fast. We could put it on a longer handle, yes, that's possible, but just saying, it's going to cut. We know it will cut, but how well it will do or clean, or will it still remain standing and not break the pedestal, that has to do with it being an axe, not necessarily that it's not a good edge or a good weapon. This isn't really what you test on, but since everybody's asking, let's go ahead and see what happens.
Oh. So close. Ooh. So close.
We lost our pedestal. It broke.
The dowel inside of it broke.
Right, but if you can see, we got a pretty nice cut. The thing is, the axe keeps traveling. Even when it goes through, as it's chopping through, it keeps traveling. That's nice. There's nothing really wrong with that, except a lot of this tearing is probably because as the wedge shape takes over, that's why we have this. If you see the, it's not because the edge wasn't cutting when it originally went through, it's because the wedge shape was dragging on it. And then at the very back, as it's going through, it's flipping our target this way. So as it's doing that, it's tearing the fibers instead of cutting the fibers as it's trying to cut through. So at that point, we've got breakage. Well, actually, it'd be more like this. You've got breakage, and then it just fell. So that's why we normally don't do it. It's because the shape of the blade makes a big difference on how clean a cut you can get through. Ah! Whoa. Let's see what happened with our beard here. I am quite impressed. I overshot. The beard was still able to cut through the meat and into the bone. And that was just the beard. We sliced through the actual bone. You can see the bone cut inside. I'd actually misjudged thinking that I was farther over, and just the beard itself has chopped through the bone. So it's a beautiful hit. I'm extremely impressed. The beard actually aids in a very good way, if you look at it that way, to lengthen the blade, reinforce the blade, give a little more weight and strength to the blade. Oh! Whoa! That is insane. I love the cut there, the way it went into the actual meat. The entire axe head buried all the way in. And again, we sliced all the way into the bone and through the bone. You can see it right here. This being a free hanging, this being an actual free hanging, for our axe blade to cut in like this is spectacular. Gives you an idea what kind of carnage this would cause on an actual body if you were to hit somebody in the shoulder or arm. I think somebody would lose an arm with this easily, because that bone is all the way through. It's just being held by what flesh is left. Oh! Wow! We have definitely cleft through bone. You can actually see the bone that was cleft through right here, coming down at an angle. Beautiful. And look at how large that wound is. That is a very large wound through that and much flesh. This is spectacular. And the way it actually sliced as well. The very broad blade aids in that, so you can hit, even though I did kind of go into it with just the beard at the beginning. Still beautiful. I'm looking at that cut. That is a spectacular cut. A lot of flesh there. And definitely it's not ballistic gelatin, so in our test we think the flesh actually behaves a lot more like, even though it's dead flesh, more like
living flesh.
Like living flesh, much more like it. You can see the cut in here where we went through that bone with the beard. You can see where it actually cleft down this bone and the rest of the bones there. Beautiful. Oh.